Alright, so if you couldn't tell from the title of this video, we have some problems with Genshin Impact that we really need to address. And this is going to be a lot because I'm not just going to be talking about Hoyoverse. I'm going to be talking about the community too. However, I'm going to leave the whole talking about the issues with the community for another video because there is so much to unpack with Genshin Impact and the problems we have had with Genshin Impact. But yeah, sit down, buckle up. If you're tired of hearing people complain about Genshin Impact, please be sure to take a nap before watching the rest of this video. But let's get right into it. Also, I do want to apologize if I do sound weird a little bit. I haven't been feeling good. I have a little bit of a sore throat, a lot of sinus drainage, so I probably do sound a little bit icky and weird. I do want to apologize for that, but yeah. Also, off topic, but I am going to be wishing for a new Violet in this video, because he is a character that I want. He is really cool. I don't know if I have enough saved up for him, though. I really hope I do. Now, let's begin by talking about Genshin's promising start as an open-world adventuring RPG game. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, at first, Genshin seemed to really live up to its name. Now, I don't know what the hell a Genshin is, or whatever, but I do know that it really did have an impact on a lot of its player base. However, a lot of that has changed in the past few years that Genshin has been out. Now, of course, the main storyline of Genshin is how, of course, two twins get separated and one travels an entire world to find the other one, only to realize that the other one has been working with pretty much the entire world's main big enemy force, the Abyss, the entire time. And there's a lot of emotional stories, quests that are in this game, not just with the main storyline, but also like some of the world quests, all of that. A lot of these have like pretty much almost had the players in tears, and a lot of that has really changed as well. I personally like Natlan's story so far, but a lot of people also haven't. And there's some aspects that I can kind of understand. However, a lot of people just really feel like the story's kind of fallen off in Natlan. But anyway, way back in the beginning, about 2020 to maybe 2021, the first year of Genshin was amazing. You know, we only really had Mondstadt and Liyue. You know, not much was really going on. Of course, we weren't that deep into the game, not that deep into the lore. But a lot of people seen the game as fun. A lot of people, including myself, spent hours playing the game. Having a lot of fun, trying to do the Dragon Spine quest, all of that stuff. And a lot of that spark for Genshin Impact is just kind of gone now. Now, if I had to be really honest, I think a lot of the issues really started when Inazuma came out, because a lot of people did not like the Archon quest and the storyline of Inazuma, and I can agree it could have used some improvements. It was okay, but I think it could have been improved a little bit. Not to mention the design on some of the characters, which I'll get into that in actually just a second, so that way I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. But Inazuma's kind of where a lot of people started to be like, that's weird, you know, that wasn't really as fun as I was hoping, blah, blah, blah. And of course, we get to the chasm. The chasm is another area, which was in Liyue, that we had. A lot of people enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. That's where we were introduced to some more characters from Liyue and stuff like that. And then here came Sumeru next. Now, Sumeru is actually where a lot of issues came in. A lot of people were actually really upset about how a lot of the characters, playable and non-playable characters, weren't really brown-skinned or really as dark-skinned as they thought they were really going to be, based off of where the culture of Sumeru was inspired from in real life. And this is where kind of the extreme controversy of having dark-skinned characters kind of sparked with Genshin Impact. And on an unrelated note, a lot of people had an issue with the way Nahida looked and how she was a child modeled character. I didn't really see a big problem with that. I thought it was actually kind of unique to the way a lot of the Archons look and are designed. Because I think it also kind of brings a shock because you expect them all to look more like adults, kind of, you know, or like older. And there's just Nahida that looks like a little child, and it's just kind of like, oh, you're the Archon. And not to mention the controversy of not having dark skinned characters is kind of where a lot of the Genshin community kind of started to split off, if you get what I mean. But again, that is for another video. But however, despite all of the criticism and all of the quote unquote complaining, it's more criticism because we're like, hey, if you're going to take inspiration or whatever from like real cultures, from real people, you should accurately represent those cultures and those people. And Hoyoverse did not listen. I also do believe that there was also some issues with the design of the things in Sumeru and in Natlan. But anyway, after Sumeru, of course, we went to Fontaine, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy Fontaine, and this is where Genshin kind of started to get its reputation back. A lot of people were happy with the way things were designed in Fontaine, the character designs, everything like that. The storyline was amazing. It was phenomenal. And a lot of people were impressed, and they're like, hey, Genshin's, like, kind of started to re-improve with the way things are going. And then, well, before we got Natlan, actually, we had, what is this area called again? I keep forgetting. Shenyu Vale? Is that how you say that? Shenyu Vale? Shenyu Vale? I might be pronouncing that wrong. I do deeply apologize if I am. I think that's what it's called, right? Shenyu Vale? It's like the general area of all of this. I think so. Sorry, I forgot. But there wasn't really much of a problem with that. A lot of people were just like, oh, hey, new area, yippee. Because it's connected to Liyue, so there wasn't much of a storyline there. And then we got to Natlan. And Natlan is just kind of like, oh my god. And Natlan is where the community is just kind of like, what the fuck happened, Hoyoverse? Now, if I remember correctly, I do remember seeing a post saying that the people that designed Fontaine and did all the stuff for Fontaine are different than the people that are currently working on Natlan. So I think that there's an issue with whoever the fuck is working on Natlan. Whoever worked on Fontaine, please come back. Please come back. Please, please, please. Please design Schneider for us. Please, please, please. Now, I don't want to be entirely negative about Natlan because my opinions on Natlan are not entirely negative, and neither is it for the entire community. A lot of people liked the design of Natlan. They liked the way the animals look, you know. I really like that. I think that's kind of like extremely unique compared to a lot of the other animals you typically see around the map of Teyvat. And I also kind of like the way the characters are, the way they have like a special ability that helps them kind of climb up the cliff sides and walls and everything like that. It's just something that makes Natlan and its characters unique. But a lot of people are upset because a lot of the designs of characters and things in Natlan have kind of been mixed with a little bit of too modern type technology things. Like for a very good example that just recently happened is Mavuika having a bike. And it's not just like, it's not like a bike that kind of looks like some like fantasy game, old style fantasy, medieval, whatever type of like bike. It looks kind of, at least from what I seen, it looked kind of modern to me. Like it looks like I could go like to a place and like find the exact type of bike and I'd be able to buy it myself in real life. Actually, I want to re-look at the design really quick just because I want to, yeah, actively looking at the design right now. That bike looks like it should be in one of Genshin's other games like Honkai Impact or something maybe. I played Honkai Impact like once actually. But it doesn't exactly look much. doesn't really look medieval or fantasy. That actually looks kind of futuristic almost. I don't think I'd be able to buy that in real life, however, but I mean, just to give them that, it does look really fantasy, but if I were to design a bike for her, I would kind of take designs from, like, the Ruin Guards and other things like that, and kind of mesh that to make, like, a bike for her. So I'm not mad about the fact that she has, like, a bike. I mean, it really doesn't fit in the other ways we've kind of, like, traveled throughout Genshin, you know? Like, using the hot air balloons and the carts, you know, the people, like, pulling the trading carts, whatever, the boats. And then there's Mavwika with a bike, and I'm like, oh, we have vehicles now. Another thing is the character's clothing. Cheska, I don't think she's really necessarily wearing jeans, but, like, half short, half pant, wearing... I don't have a problem. I don't think her design's really all that ugly. It's just, like, the half pant, half pants, half shorts, and then, like, one sleeve. That just looks so uncomfortable to wear. And then, of course, here we have Auroron, too, with his ripped jeans. And this is supposed to be, like, a, like, fantasy type game. I don't want to say it's, like, it's like a yeah, it's supposed to be more of, like, a fantasy slash... I don't know if I want to say, like, medieval style or whatever, because it really doesn't look... Some of them don't look like, kind of, like, older style, but, like, it's not supposed to be, like, really futuristic or modern. Or, like, modern at all. And we have this dude with ripped jeans. I'm not mad about it. It doesn't really fit in the style of the game. Same with Gilonen. She also seems to have some sort of jean-type pants. I think Kanich, Milani, and Kachina look really cool, though. You know, especially Kachina. I feel like her design's one of the best in Natlan. She's also, I just love her. She's amazing. Milani's also pretty cool. I like her design as well. Kanich also has a really cool design. I don't get the whole 8-bit looking thing, though. I don't know. I guess maybe it's just a me thing, but, like, I just don't understand it. It doesn't really look like it kind of fits. Especially that annoying little shithead right there. My god. I'm sorry. He's a little bit funny, but he's just annoying. But a lot of people thought, like, the design of the characters didn't really fit in with the other characters. Why did I get out of that? Let's actually compare. Okay, so here we have Auroron. He seems to have, like, ripped jeans, obviously, some gloves. This kind of looks like... I don't know, it's kind of giving, like, that half fantasy vibe, but, like, half modern, because of, like... I think it's just the jeans that are really the issue. I don't see a problem with anything else. I don't really think the scarf really goes with the rest of his outfit, personally, but... But then you take a look at the way somebody like Neuvillett's design. Because I want his character. I didn't get him, by the way. I was wishing and I just didn't get him. I'm super mad. I want Neuvillette. Come home, Neuvillette. Please. If you look at him, his design has more of a fantasy style design, while also kind of implementing, where they took inspiration for Fontaine from. And this just kind of looks like something a person would wear, because, like, underneath all of his, like, his cloak and his scarf and everything, it's literally like a ripped t-shirt or something and some ripped jeans. Like, that's just, like, modern day clothing. It's not really good for a fantasy game. And, of course, we have Mavwika's design, too, with her whole, like, leather bodysuit with the zipper that goes all the way to the back. That looks extremely uncomfortable to wear, first of all. And second of all, a lot of people didn't like how it kind of hides the, more, I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of hides, like, her, like, cultural design, kind of, like... Because, you know, like I was talking about with Neuvillette, like, he has, like, that fantasy design implemented on him, but it also kind of shows, like, where they took inspiration from for Fontaine with the clothing of the Fontaine characters. And a lot of, like, it didn't really do that with Mavwika. Like, you know, she has, like, the earrings, she has some other, like, jewelry type stuff on that are kind of, like, taken from the culture Natlan is inspired from, if I remember correctly. But however, it's just leather bodysuit. It's mostly just like a leather bodysuit, biker vibe that she's got going on. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the biker vibe, you know? It's just, she didn't really have much culture added to her clothing. Like, we can also look at the Raiden Shogun here, which this is also what I want to get into about the design with some of Inazuma's characters as well. The clothing she's wearing right here, of course, is more of a is actually something from the Japanese culture, if I remember correctly. This is called a, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's a kimono? However, it's supposed to be longer, and hers is actually really short.
But human life is like...
Can you not? For like 2 seconds, let me stop and talk about what you're wearing. Because it's not, it's very, I think, like, in Japanese culture, wearing it like this is kind of considered, like, inappropriate, because it's supposed to be long. Because if you see the way the NPCs wear them, she's wearing pretty much the exact same thing that the NPCs, like, at the shrine and stuff are wearing. Except hers is a lot shorter, of course, more uniquely designed because she's a playable character. However, it's short, and I think there's some people that had an issue with that, because they're like, you know, it's not worn like that. It's not made to be worn like that, and I think it's also kind of, offensive in a way. I'm not sure. I'm not to speak on that. I'm just a white lady, but, from what I've, like, from what I've heard and learned, it wasn't really a big issue that was talked about. It was, just kind of, it was actually brought up pretty recently, or brought to my attention personally recently, and a lot of people never talked about it. But actually, let me Google it real quick to make sure I'm... Yes, it is called a kimono, and it's supposed to be long. It's like it's meant to be worn like that. It's supposed to come down to about like your ankles down here. However, hers doesn't do that, and also, Yai Miko is wearing the same thing. I think she's also wearing a kimono, although. Again, like, the design, it's kind of, like, hard for me to see. Because, I mean, it doesn't look like a kimono, but, I mean, if people are saying it is, then I'm gonna believe them. But, again, it's not meant to be worn short. I think it's actually kind of, anyway, yeah, it's meant to be worn, like, long, kind of, type thing. It's supposed to go down to the ankles, and I think kind of showing it like this is kind of offensive. But that's just from what I've heard and from what I've seen. But yeah, this wasn't really talked about much whenever Inazuma first came out, like, at all, until someone kind of pointed it out, like, hey, these are meant to be worn kind of longer and stuff. They're not meant to be revealing like that. I think a lot of people have went, like, as far as to assume that they were trying to kind of, like, sexualize characters like the Raiden Shogun and Yai Miko, while also putting them in, traditional Japanese clothing. And I don't want to make that assumption. However, there are some things that I would like to talk about, and I'm gonna try not to assume anything when I'm talking about these things, but they're just really fucking weird. So, as a lot of you pretty much know, we all have different models for each character that we can play as. We have, like, a smaller, sort of more teenage type model for some of the characters. We, of course, have, like, the grown adult models, of course, for male and female. And again, with the teenage models, kind of male and female. However, let's take a look at the smaller models, the child models. Of course, we have Chi-Chi, we have Diona, we have Klee. I don't know if I should count Ciji or not, because she's, like, not a human necessarily. She's a, what are these? A Melusine? Something like that. Anyway, she's not really necessarily a human. But also, we also have Nahida. Again, not really human. She's more Archon, but still, they're child models. And we have Yansan too. They're all child models. But the only thing is, the only playable child model characters are all little girls. And I feel weird saying that because, of course, we do have some NPCs that are, you know, the small child models. Like, you know, we have Timmy, the pigeon-loving bitch, and, some of the other child model characters. You know, they have some female, some male NPCs with the child model. However, when it comes down to having the child model playable characters, it's all little girls, and maybe it's just a me thing, but to me that really, I don't know, kind of rubs me the wrong way in a way. And I'm not trying to assume anything or try to overreact or whatever, you know. Oh, I gotta go up here to get that. But I think at some point, like, a lot of the community was kind of like, why don't we have any, like, boy characters that have the child model make for the playable characters? And we never really had, like, any response from that. We don't have any confirmed, playable character with the child model that's a boy. I'm gonna be completely truthful with you. Oh, we have Sayu too, by the way. I thought Sayu was a boy at first. I don't know why. And then I was like, I don't know. Like, her design, it kind of looks more like a girl to me. But then I seen Eon-san, and I didn't know that she was confirmed a girl. I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I don't look at leaks all that much. Sometimes I come across them, especially when they're talked about. But Eon-san was also highly talked about, I think mainly because she's a dark-skinned character. And again, we don't really have many of these. Like, we have Kaya, Rosaria, again, she's fucking pink. And then we also have, where the fuck is Jinyan? Where the fuck is Jinyan? Right here! God. We have those two. We also have Eon-san, and I think that's why she's kind of talked about a lot more, because she had been a lead character for a while, who was a dark-skinned character, and a lot of people were like, yay, more dark-skinned characters in Natlan. Fuck no. But at first, I just, like, looked at her design. I kind of, like, seen a couple of videos about her design. I kind of looked at it, and I was like, oh, hey, maybe that's a boy character that we're gonna get later on that has the child model. It's another little girl. I mean, like, I'm not trying to assume that they're being weird, but, like, it's such a weird thing. It's just such a weird thing to kind of come on a Genshin and be like, okay, so we have, like, male and female teenage models, we have male and female adult models, child models, and it's only, like, the only playable ones are all girls. Like, it's just a little bit weird to me. And I'm not trying to assume anything. It's just, I just wanted to point that out, because I feel like at one point it was brought up, and people were like, why don't we have any, like, boy, child playable characters? You know, because they're all little girls, and it's just kind of like, why? And speaking of odd things, they did make a change to Setlali. Here's a 1,000-year-old grandma, by the way. So whenever you first meet her in the game, whether you have Aether or Lumine, she's a very bold, outspoken character. Yells at anybody she looks at type of character. But here recently they made a change to where she's, like, more shy and timid and kind of blushy. I think that's just around Aether. I don't know if they kind of gave her this more shy persona around Lumine, but they pretty much killed off her character, her personality, just to kind of reform her as some shy, timid waifu type character. Quiet. And a lot of the community were kind of like, hear me. Why the fuck? Like, there's, like, no point in doing that. I really, like, as annoying as she was, in my personal opinion, I don't want to deal with some little shy, blushy waifu, which of course I picked Lumine, so I don't have to worry about that. But rest in peace to you, Aether mains, or you Aether pickers. I don't know if you guys, like, play as, I don't use the Traveler, like, at all. But if you do, rest in peace to y'all. that's gonna be so painful to watch too, because it's like, as annoying as she was, it was kind of a more suiting personality for her because she seemed to just feel the need to, I guess, be more, I don't know how to explain it, I guess more like, I don't want to say like motherly, but I guess more kind of like bossy and tries to act like the bigger person, especially toward, Auroran, always scolding him and stuff, you know, kind of like acting like his mom, pretty much. And to me, giving her that shy, timid personality just kind of takes away from, like, the type of character she was before the update. And that's just gonna be super, like, weird if you don't change her like before, like in the beginning Archon quest, where she's like a bold and outgoing, outspoken person to shy and timid. And I think a lot of the players that haven't reached Natlan yet are gonna kind of be like, what happened? I'm confused. And of course, a lot of people were absolutely livid about this because this is just some, like, fucking gooner BS. Like, you guys can't handle when a girl has an outspoken, loud, and bold personality. And they decided to change her to some shy, timid, little waifu. Like, what the fuck? Like, they pretty much just killed off her old personality. And I personally kind of liked her old personality. Like, it was something that was kind of obnoxious, but also, I just liked it because it's not like a stereotypical type of personality that they would give any other type of, like, character in the game. If you get what I mean. Anyway, I think I have kind of said enough about Hoyoverse and what's happened to Genshin Impact. I want your guys' thoughts. Comment below. Comment if I missed anything. Be nice to each other in the comments. But I'm gonna get off here for now, because this video is kind of long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.